Thanks for joining us. This is our walk to the SMER 2 Forest Research Station. And we are today with you, Marketa, who's on the camera, on the second camera, showing you around the station. And there's Jazz and myself, and then there's about 6 of us here joining us walking here. We haven't done this so far with so many people walking with us, and this late in the year, so we hope the batteries stand and you can follow. So we have a little project, Marketa, Chewy, Jess, and myself, called Open Forest, where we are thinking about forests and environmental data and different ways of looking at that. Which is manifest in this kind of walks like we are doing here today. We've done it in other forests a couple of times in this one, and also we have another couple. It manifests also with a map, a feral map, where we are collecting stories and other kinds of data. We will show a little bit of that later. And then we also have a couple of we've done installations in galleries and things like that. So this is one of the things we do to explore with others this. And together we are here in the research station called Hyytiälä, which belongs to Helsinki University, and they kindly allow us to come and walk with people around. This is the oldest part of the SMER station, which is a particular part of the research station. This is being put in a 59-year-old stand pine. So they were planted around 1960, the spines that you see here, after light burning and soil preparation. The first thing they built was this mast, which Marketa is showing. That tower was the first. They're particularly interested in the interrelationships between the atmosphere and the forest canopy, because there's a lot of microclimatologists, physicists, physics, and also forest managers, forestry researchers doing research in here. So they paid a lot of attention on measuring gas fluxes, aerosols, photosynthesis, radiation, and that kind of things. The containers you see around here are hosting some of the servers and some of the data that's being collected. And this is the entry point. The Marketa can show probably the small, or I can show it probably from my little screen if I locate myself rightly. Yes, that little hut over there used to be the server. Which the first server is no longer, it's just a storage. But you can imagine in 95, when this started, the first computers were installed in that little hut over there. Yeah. So yeah, we can go and start walking. And for those of you who are there, this looks like the entry to the station. It's 6 degrees over here, so it's a little bit chilly. And please say something if you want to ask. Also here, please just ask whenever you want.
And also on the way, we will share with you some stories. Some of the stories that we already see in the map. Andrea, you are the only audio that we have. So.
Oh, yes, you have to be here with me, sorry. Okay. That's a little Finnish summer cottage we used as a gas chamber. Lots of the gases of they use to measure some things. The bottles are here. It's Marketa showing. And the official entry to the place is marked by this boulder that you can see from my screen. The stand, as I told, was planted in 1960, and it was light trimmed a couple of years ago. And the little white papers you see on the trees are part of the inventory they did when they were deciding which trees to cut for the thinning of the forest, because this is a managed forest. It's supposed to be to be kept quite close to what a typical Finnish forest looks like, which most are like this. 70% of Finland is plantations. That means like commercially managed forests. Yeah. Yes, good point. So these are 70% of this country is managed forest. So that means looks like this, planted trees. And this patch of the forest should be as representative as possible of a Finnish forest, so that they can do measurements that are representative of the forest of this country. The area was selected to be this one because it's like a plate. So it's quite easy for them to have a water catchment, to know, for example, how much water enters the forest and how much water leaves the forests. So there's a lot of tubes underneath here. And depending on how you calculate, around 1,600 or 4,000 data points, which are they are collecting from the forest. They've been collecting most of them since 1995. So there's quite a lot of years of data going out from here. To the right, that little table you see is a product of an artist residence a couple of years ago. The artist called Agnes Meyer-Brandis had make this telemetry. It is it's a larger part, it's a bigger project, but only part you can see now in the station is this table where you can sit and have a tea with a tree. But she also did a little station that was measuring the exchange of vapor between the teacup and the tree, a bit inspired by some of the measurements that the station takes. You can see more about her project. There's a website here. Marketa was showing it before. And there's also a webcam that takes pictures, I think, every half an hour of the of the location. Yeah, you can continue walking for a little while. If you have any question, you can. Now we can have a little stop here. This is one of the celebrities of the station, like Marketa said. It's a mast, which is the highest one, 135 meters. Sorry, 180 meters. It was built to measure atmosphere reactions at different heights. It's already 20 years since they installed it. It has sensors every 5-7 meters. So this is the biggest piece of equipment, and it's supposed to measure the it measures all these organic volatile compounds that the trees are throwing into the air, and the clouds are also bringing from other parts. When we were giving the first tour to the station, the micrometeorologist that explained said that, for example, if somebody throws fireworks in Tampere, they can be sent in this maps. Some of the, the things that travel in the air through that. So it takes quite a range of area. And they, have all kinds of measurements by which they want to say things about, the how much water gets evaporated, and the effects of the tree canopy on the rain formation and radiation and all kinds of other things that a Finnish forest contributes.
Andrea, can I ask something?
Yes, please.
What is the soundscape like today? Because you're talking also about humming, or like, what does it sound like for you all?
Yes, maybe this is a good, unfortunately you cannot hear it because of the Zoom settings, which cancel the noise, but there is a lot of humming here. So maybe I will ask everybody to close their eyes for a little while, and let's hear for a second the humming of this forest. Maybe you can hear it if we are quiet here. Did you hear it? No, it's very silent for you. In here, it sounds like. Because there's a couple of huts which have equipment, so the humming is quite intense when you are here. That's the people that run the station said that there are not that many. We asked once if there's problems with animals breaking the setting, but they say that's actually not a lot of it's not a big problem, because animals don't come here very often because of the humming. So there are some mouses and squirrels once in a while, but like big animals like a moose, even though they go around, they are in the area, they will not come often here because of the humming.
Do they know if it's specifically from the humming, or could be also like the setting, like the strange?
Yeah, probably a setting also, but at least we were told that they think the biggest cause is the noise escape, the soundscape of the forest.
Are there birds, Andrea?
With the phone and see if they could hear it.
Okay, yes, Jazz will go closer to see if you can hear a bit of the noise. Sorry?
Are there birds?
I haven't heard.
The beginning.
The beginning?
When closer to the buildings where we were, there were a couple of chips of birds. Right now I haven't heard birds.
Well, there's just one flew there, but yeah.
It also happens that birds usually become noisy in the morning and in the evening, and at this time they're kind of like they are in resting mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not the right time to hear the birds probably either. Yeah.
But can you actually hear it through this phone?
Yeah, I think now we can hear it a little bit. It sounds like a printer from here.
All right, I'll mute myself now.
Jazz, could you ask Andrea to unmute her laptop?
Unmute. Yes. Now.
Very good.
Thank you. Okay, so we can now walk a little bit more. Here's another. This is the main data hub of the station. You can see from the windows that the computers and most of the servers are now here, chunking data, because most of the data of the station also goes online. And they have ambition to have published all these open data where you can download and use the measurements for different purposes. So there is a couple of offices and computers there for the data managers that comes once in a while and check things. But a lot of the work also happens remotely. So there's not nobody needs to be here all the time. But you can see from Marketa's screen some of the insights of the hub. This is a typical Finnish cottage reused as a data hub. And here you could also see, this is another product of another artist residence. It's a designer called Terike Hapaoja, who has made a visualization of the carbon tree. So it uses the measurements of some of the trees in here to visualize how much carbon sink this tree is sinking. You can see more information from the website there. It's a nice visualization. It was done a couple of, I think 6 or 7 years ago already.
And we will later, during the sharing session, look at some of in the feral map, we have some stories already attached to the carbon tree. Yeah. And we pasted those into the chat, so those who are online can already click on it now.
If you want.
If you want to. Yeah. The website of the carbon tree is quite interesting. It's really showing you like the live measurements of the carbon sequestration through this one particular tree.
This actual tree doesn't have any sensors. The sensors are somewhere else. There's about 8 trees with sensors in which we can see some of them later now. Depending on the day, because the amount of carbon the tree sinks depends also on the weather conditions and the humidity and all kinds of things. So it displays that variation in almost in real time. Sorry? But the Jazz went already with the. You can also go, yes. En el árbol. It's the part of the community. Yes. You can see I'll show you from here the back of the. Any questions over there? Something you would like to see more?
I guess I'm curious about the soil and the ground cover. It looks like there's a lot of moss. Is there moss there on the?
There's moss, and then there are lingonberries and blueberries.
Ah, okay. Oh wow.
The most of the green is of these lingonberry and blueberry bushes.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So are the soils is it very acidic soil then?
Sorry?
Is the soil very acidic to grow the blueberries?
I think so.
Yeah.
I used to know the name of the soil type, but it escapes my memory now, but I can give it to you afterwards. I've read there's 6 types of soils names, and I used to know the name of this one, but I can't remember now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. No, I'm just curious.
I can give it to you later.
Interesting, composition in the forest.
Yeah, but I mean, there are some measurements about the soils, and I can show you later now some of the chambers that measure measure that at the level of the soil. But for example, there is not so much research about the mycelium or anything underneath, because the station has started from this interest of these physics and microclimate and forestry. So it has been kept like between the canopy and the clouds more than the soil.
But also like the whole like atmosphere scale type of research. Like in that sense, the station is quite unique.
Yeah.
That it's measuring, you know, the exchange of the volatile organic compounds and other gases between the atmosphere and the canopy, but it's not focusing so much at the micro scale phenomena. But then they have some peatlands research going on.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
other parts.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
There's a dog house, which houses a water pump.
Fortunately, there is no dog, I'd say.
No dog.
Very disappointing.
Yeah, you can see
chamber.
there's this is one of the chambers. These close depending on the chamber, every half an hour or something, this one closes. Then there's some gases inserted in there, and then they measure different kinds of things from them.
Creating this microclimate, like simulating a certain microclimate always in the temperature.
You can see, I can show you the berries. There are some berries here.
Amazing.
Sorry.
This is great. Thank you. Thanks very much. Yay. Oh, there they are.
There's still this is what climate change does. There should not be berries in November in the floor, and there are.
Right.
Yeah, we are not lucky, so none of the chambers is closing now. Do we go up to one of the towers, isn't it? Yeah. Just is showing you now some of the other chambers. And there's also lots of plastic buckets around for measuring water and snowfall.
It's a pretty interesting visual. We will get to them later. We have like those guys. It's built out of
Yes. Just is coming. Where is it?
I will find. But in the meantime, you can see.
Yeah, okay. But we don't go upstairs now? Are you okay? It's very slippery here. We have lost one of the walkers. Yeah.
It's okay.
Good. Nobody died. Yeah. But it's very slippery.
Yeah. But maybe you can tell about the birches first and the city centers.
Yes. So here we have let's wait that just brings the other camera. So this is one of the photo towers. It has it was built around these 4 trees. There's 3 pines and 1 birch. So they all have sensors at different altitudes, and they are measuring sap flow and photosynthesis, and the how much the my English is escaping me. How much during the day the tree expands and contracts. I can't remember the exact name of that. But I'll show you. We, with Marqueta and Jazz, believe they are kind of dance. They have tutu ballet little skirts, and they dance while we are not here. These are some of the. This is the one that measures the contraction and expansion of the tree. And I wanted to show to Michelle because I've mentioned it to her, these aluminium casserole molds, which are there for protecting the sensors. And I always thought it's very, very cute. Do-it-yourself solutions they have placed in here. And if we want, we can go on top of the canopy and see. It's a nice view. You have to be very careful. Today is not windy, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Shall we go? Do you want to go up? That requires a little bit of walking. We are very lucky with the weather today because it's very clear sky. So you can actually see. I think Marqueta sent a mail asking if people could share with us an object. Did anybody had a chance to think about one? This is one of the sensors that I'm not sure if you can see it or not. For the photosynthesis, this chamber closes every once in a while and sends a little laser light to the needles of the tree. They have to change the needle branch used every once in a while to get the now we're on top. Nice view. And more of the sensors over there. It's a very typical Finnish landscape. Lots of pine trees over there. I'm gonna wait for the rest to arrive. Hola. Yesterday it was much more windy. Yeah, when we came. Yeah. Yesterday you could really see the trees. It was a little bit scary to be here. And it wasn't that sunny.
Very nice to walk up here because like it's not very often that you can walk up like from the same tree.
Same. Yeah. Yeah.
Like there you can come like up to lookouts, but then like you go from another side. But not
Yeah, vertically. Yes. Get a little bit of a drone view.
How about this guy there?
This one?
the mushroom.
I used to know which one was that one. I can't remember. Hi, that one is the photosynthesis. Yes. And let's have this laser. It sends, you can see from the in the photo, you can see that it sends kind of laser points to that, and then they shenanigans to measure the photosynthesis. So you can see it's to market. How is the did the little one made it? No.
Seemed today, yes.
Yeah.
Gaps
Yes.
for children, I think.
Yes. Yes. It's the feet are a little bit too small.
Yes.
Yeah. Did anybody thought about the object?
Object.
Yeah.
Yes, I have it in my head.
Do you have it in your, do you mind to share with us here? Maybe it's a good time now.
It might sound like if I just found it.
Do you hear? Yeah.
I was thinking a twig,
A twig?
little twig.
Yeah.
With this like lichen that grows, this like typical like kind of light green lichen that grows on the branches of the trees. So I've been working with like natural dyes in my research, and like with little twig that I found, it was like the time when I realized like the relationship between very basic relationship between like the snowfall or the wind that then breaks the branches, and then that gives me the opportunity to pick that thing I use the lichen, because you can pick lichen out of nothing.
Yeah.
It has to be something that is fallen because it's protected, or
Okay.
sort of lichens for foraging.
Ah.
So then that was something that was like, oh yeah, there is like wind and the trees, and they're like not separated. So that's the reason.
Okay. Nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
That was Leonardo.
I saw one when we were working up here.
Oh.
Like really nice
Yeah,
piece
so-
of lichen and a piece of wood.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find it again.
Yes, you get nice yellows.
Yeah.
That lichen.
Are you planning to take some if you can?
No,
No.
I already.
Yeah,
did
you
the
have enough.
line.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or later, then I will start again.
Okay. Do you have any in mind, Andrea?
Was it like a object?
So, yeah, something that kind of describes what the forest is for you.
Yeah.
Like the person.
For me, like I said, more about like silence
Silence.
and quietness. Yeah.
Mm.
If I go to the forest, it's because
So how do you feel about this one with the humble?
yeah, it was pretty shocking. I mean, like I understand the purpose, but
Yeah.
of like monitoring and
Yeah.
experiment, but it kind of detached completely the
It
meaning
is.
of forest.
I think it is quite a contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Mm.
Yeah, and like really no wonder about the animals. Because we are here for like 1 hour now,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
staying here even like for longer when we are here for some course, it can get like weird. You can really
Yeah.
get so this frequency can get under your skin. You know.
Mm.
And also the correspondence that is then missing to measure
Mm.
the air and the ingredients of the forest, but without the yeah. For the sample. Yeah. Kind of. Possibly is missing. But then the unmanaged old forest that we talked about earlier, that is like, I don't know, like 5 minutes was that way.
Yeah.
It's super silent
Okay.
as compared to this.
Yes.
There is nothing, nobody. It's just people there in the morning for like 1 hour.
Okay, let's go.
You
Down.
can also see the beautiful mast again. What was the story about the fireworks?
I already said that
Okay,
that if there is fireworks in Tampere, this will catch
that's it.
catch it. Yes. I hope I don't die carrying the computer. Does anybody online have the thought about an object? And would you mind to share
I've
while we
brought
walk down?
a pine cone, and it's probably just it's not.
Wait,
it's-
I need to turn the volume on. Wait. Yeah, now.
Okay. I brought a pine cone. So I'm actually in London. This isn't really a very typical forest find here. I think the typical thing would probably be acorn or plane tree, but I think with forests, for me, the idea is dispersal. So looking at the structure of the seeds and
Yeah.
just how the forests are actually moving and changing their distributions. So that was just why I thought I would bring a seed-like item along.
Yeah, that's really not, that's really important. Yeah, if you think about the yeah, I like this connection with the dispersal, like you said. Very, yeah. I wonder also how that plays in a place like this, where you see the like a plantation, like more like a purposefully planted somehow. Yeah, how that is with a dispersion idea.
Well, definitely. I think this is from one of the pine plantations, so it's a commercial plantation. So,
okay.
So again, just thinking of how, I mean, if that's very managed, but I imagine with the changing climate, some of the tree species, even in London, it's very noticeable. Over the past summer, we had sort of quite a strong drought, and a lot of the northern species, like the hawthorn, were noticeably stressed and sort of dying. But then more Mediterranean species, because London people have lots of interesting trees in their garden. A lot of those Mediterranean species were really flourishing and doing really well. So a friend has a fig tree in their garden, and that was producing quite a lot of fruit and really growing during that really hot weather. So it's just again interesting to think how those forests might shift and move in that way.
She brought a cone pine to think about the seeds and the dispersion.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Great. Marketa is over there. Did you have a chance to think about an object for yourself? Would you like to share with us?
Yes, I thought about a berry. Very surprisingly, because there is a lot of berries in the forest. But when thinking about something that was common to many forests that I've been, is always the berries, and I have like a connection with them because I like to eat them. So that makes me research about like what kind of berries are in each forest, what are the edible ones, what are the non-edible ones, and then it kind of brings me to create my forest narrative, because like just by focusing on one object that is in every forest, you can start like creating your stories. For example, it's not only the berries that you find, but it's also the traces. There is a lot of animals who like to eat berries, and they leave their like purple poops here and there, and then you kind of like really easily you spot them, like, okay, this seems to be a bird, this seems to be maybe a rodent. And I also like reminds me that we are not the only animals who eat berries. Like we share some common taste with other species.
Yeah. Did you taste
I
the
haven't
ones?
tasted them. No,
Ah,
but
you
I
should.
can see now.
Yeah.
some
There's
blueberries.
not many, but there are still, which is quite unusual that you could still see now in November some berries. Yeah. Okay.
You talk about the birch trees and the names.
Oh yes, this the tower we climbed, and I show you the three pines and the birch. There is a map inside the cottage, which has the names for them. When I saw it first time, I wondered why these names sound so familiar for me. And after thinking a little bit, they are called Tellervo, Pertti, Jenny, and I can't remember the fourth one, but they are all the spouses of former Finnish presidents. These three pines and the birch. I think the birch is Jenny, and the other ones are Tellervo, Pertti, and I can't remember the
ones with the skirt.
Yes, these ones with the skirts. Oops. And then Marketa wanted to show the can, the lonkero can. There is a lonkero can, which we have spotted repeatedly in the past years.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Are you going for?
Yeah, it was very unique turnout.
Where it is. We are, is it somewhere here? Ah, yes, now I remember where it is. So you see that one, that blue spot over there? Marketa comes soon. It's an aluminum can.
How excited can you get about aluminum can that you find? Grapefruit flavor.
It has a little instrument inside. Yeah. We don't know exactly for what one this is. Yeah. Well, they probably know. We just have to ask next time what that one is doing. But at the beginning, we always thought it was some trash nobody had picked. But
this use of aluminum casing and like protecting sensors is so jugaad. Like
yes,
it's
definitely.
Lovely.
Does anybody there online would like to share an object with us here? If you have it, no need. Huh? Some courageous one.
No need, Vana. Oh.
Come on.
Okay.
Do you have an object, Jazz? Do you have an object in mind? No?
We were thinking about mushrooms with just earlier though.
Yeah.
As like a shared object that to us like represents what forest is, you know, like this multiplicity of entanglements and the connections in the mycelium. For like that the forest, for me, for instance, especially around mushrooms. Mushrooms are such a traditional thing in Bohemia that mushroom picking is just a thing that I don't know. I feel that everybody had to done at least, you know, like once in life to go mushroom foraging. So it creates this like web of social relations, you know, that you meet people in the forest picking mushrooms. Then there are people who know their secret spots. So sharing the spots with your little circle is also very like sort of the social bonding activity. Yeah.
Lots of knowledge around
Yeah,
it.
lots of knowledge. I like it both as like a metaphor for like the social entanglements, but also like actually this functional mycelium web of nutrient exchange. That's for me the most fascinating thing about forest, probably.
Yeah.
what's happening. The canopy is spectacular and fascinating, but the understory.
Okay. What Marqueta said. Okay, great, fantastic. Yes.
Okay, let's proceed. Back.
Back. Oh, we are coming.
Oh, you can do a few stops. There is the pool in the back. You can go there.
Yeah, go ahead. A bit slippery here.
Yeah, the numbers. We probably already talked about that.
Yeah,
The label.
for the inventory.
In the hut.
Ah, yes, that's the entry of all the crunching data. You can see all the cables going inside the hut. Nice weave there.
I think that now maybe
Yes.
we can for the online part.
Yeah.
Everyone to share something in the firm map. So maybe we can talk a little bit about the firm map before
Yes.
we close the Zoom.
Yes. Jess, do you want to say a few words about the feral map? Because it's almost 3 o'clock and we don't want to, Zoom is very tiring.
Yeah.
And so we probably would wrap up the online part soon. So we would like to ask a favor from you, and maybe Jess can say a few words about that.
So we created this thing called the feral map, and we wanted to challenge how data is mapped on a map. And so mapping itself and data and what that tells about a place and your experience. Not much. So feral map is where we could also mix different types of data, and we're exploring feral data and including our stories, different types of media, and what we talk about. And it could be a poetry, it could be a reflection, as well as, video, audio, images, and we map them. And if you look at the legends, it won't be like animal, human stories. It'd be something like ambient, or there is an animal category, but different categories. So you could map them onto this what we call patch, which is the forest station here, or you could create a creature. So a story could be a creature, or something that you saw, a berry could be a creature, and you can add stories, others can add stories to it. So that's where we hope we could share all our stories in different ways and really think about data, but also what creatures are and in relation to us and everything around us.
So it's very experimental, not ready yet. So if you have up there at home 5 minutes after this, maybe Gaurika or Savannah can post the link in the chat.
The existing stories.
There are some existing stories, and then you can browse. We are changing from the version 1.0 of the map to version 1.2, so we don't have all the stories yet there. There's a few, but if you would have 5 minutes of your time and you would like to add a little story that you got inspired after our little walk, we would be very grateful. And you can add them there in the Hyytiälä Smear 2 patch. Because we will now say goodbye for you. And thank you for joining us today. And then we will concentrate on being in the forest without the screen now for a little while, if you don't mind.
Everybody.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
It's really,
you.
really lovely to meet
Thank
you
you.
and join you on the
Thank
walk.
you so much. So nice to see you
Bye.
all.
Yes, have a good time over there. Thank you for joining.
Bye bye. Have a nice
Bye.
time.
Bye.
Ciao.